Hey guys, welcome back. Now I'm going to tell you right off the bat what my favorite part of this build is. It functions as a business. That's right, a base game only build that functions with a couple of little tricks. Functions basically as a small business lot type. Businesses and Hobbies has come out, gosh, when was that? Like February? I don't know. A while ago, right? Get a job, as I call it. And with that pack, what you can do is actually run a small business off your home lot. So you can like make pottery and sell them out of your little storefront, and you can live in an apartment above. We've been doing this with Get to Work for ages though, where we build a little business, then we put an apartment above it. We just leave our home lot completely empty so we don't have bills. Like, we've been doing this for a long time. Get to Work was one of the first packs that came out for The Sims 4. But I'm not using Get to Work. I'm not using Get a Job. I am using base game only for building up Willow Creek. Well, for building up Willow Creek and Oasis Springs, because that's right, it's save file time. If you're new here, hi. What we're doing is we're building up a save file. We just started. This video is the third build we've done. Now our live streams are ahead because I make the speed builds obviously after I build it. So currently in the live stream series, as of me recording this, we are moving on to Courtyard Lane. So we've done Crawdad Quarter, which is what you see on screen. We did Foundry Cove, which is like where the magical tree is. And we're moving on to Courtyard Lane, which is where the pancakes live. So that's where we're at in the stream series. But then here, this is just the third build. So you're not behind. This is a great place to jump in. We rebuilt Municipal Muses as a residential lot. So that is now home to the Muses, 9 sisters. Yes, one of them is dead. That's the only way to do it in the base game. Or without mods, I guess I should say. We rebuilt the Blue Velvet. The Blue Velvet is still a community lot. You can see it next door. Very blue. It's a lounge now. It's got like a stage and a performing space and a green room and all sorts of stuff. Should be a really fun place to bring a date. That's the goal anyway. So hopefully you guys have fun bringing your Sims out there. And then Movers and Shakers. I felt like I was really limited here because, as you know, I am keeping the original lot titles, which means that I have to make a story and a build and plan a family or whatever for a house or community lot that fits the original title still, which is an interesting little puzzle, but it's been a lot of fun. I feel like we've done a really good job so far, mixing things up but still feeling like true to the Sims, true to the world, true to the worlds. We've got some fun little quirky bits here and there in keeping with The Sims, which has got weird quirky bits, but also all of the builds are like decorated and landscaped and don't have toilets and missing doors, and or they do have toilets, I should say. They do have toilets, don't have missing. The point is, we're building up the world. It's going to be great. So Movers and Shakers, I was like, listen, we can keep this a gym because that makes sense for Movers and Shakers. And I was thinking, or it'd be funny if we had bartenders live here because they like do the little shaky thing with, I'm showing you with my hands, which is probably good. I don't have a camera, so that's not on screen. Anyway, they do that, but you're not allowed to play the bartender career. That's not actually a playable career in game, which cost us a lot of problems, but that's for a future video. But there are baristas like for cafes, and I don't know, I don't really drink out of coffee shops and stuff much because I'm allergic to coffee, so we might do a drive-through and grab a tea every once in a while, but I'm not familiar with what the kids are doing these days with their coffees, if they're shaking them or not, but it amused me as a thought. And also I was thinking movers, like sometimes people refer to young people in business and finance industries as like the movers of the industry because they're moving money around and whatever. That's something I've heard on financial videos anyway, which, as some of you know, I like to watch global financial videos and international trade information to fall asleep to. So I've heard the term. I don't know how widely used it is, but I put them together. And so now this apartment has 2 barista type people in it, 2 business type people, or no, 1 business type people and 1 manual labor type people, because also mover like a moving company, like moving boxes and stuff. So we have a variety of people living here, a variety of aspirations. This household was actually created by 2 separate people, which is fun. That's the first time. Well, okay, this is the second household, so first time for everything. But so far, to date, including the live streams, this is the only household where we've actually had multiple people make the Sims for the household, which is super fun. So there's 4 single Sims, 1 adult and 3 young adults, I believe, 2 masculine, 2 feminine. So this is a great place to maybe go pick up a date and then go to the lounge next door to woo them. Or not. I don't know your type. I feel like I was supposed to be making a point about the apartment, and I don't really remember what that was, but that's what I get for recording voiceovers at night, as usual. usual, I'm going to be cutting out quite a bit here. We did easily half a dozen different floor plans, trying to figure out how to get 4 bedrooms upstairs, all separate and like roughly evenly sized, because this is supposed to be a roommate situation, not like a parents and kids situation. Because sometimes you can get away with putting a kid or two in a slightly smaller room, and you can give like older kids or parents or grandparents or whatever like larger rooms, and you can get away with that disparity in size. But when you're dealing with a bunch of young adult roommates, I felt like it would be kindest to give them all similar sized rooms. So I did my best to do that. And as you can tell, we were also having a lot of fun with colors in this one. It took me ages and ages and ages to figure out the color scheme I wanted outside, and then we just kept running with it. So yes, this does stay orange and green. I would say so far, I like the concept of this lot still a lot. How it turned out, I think this is one of those instances where if we'd had just 1 or 2 more packs, there were a couple of things I kept looking for and I didn't have because it's base game only. Like, I think that this could be improved significantly very, very easily with 1 or 2 other packs, but we didn't have them. So with just the base game, you know what? It's got personality, so it's got that going for it. You know, when you come into this apartment, if you come visit these Sims, you're definitely gonna be like, wow, this is something. And that's worth something. I was saying the other day that being out in public, it can be rough sometimes because you're afraid you're going to do something embarrassing. After working in customer service type roles and seeing the type of embarrassing stuff that people do to themselves all the time and realizing how many embarrassing things I've probably done, I realized that going home and telling a funny story about something you did that was embarrassing is kind of like the highlight of the day. If you get to go home and tell a story about this crazy customer that walked in. So if I do something awkward out in the wild, I'm like, you know what? At least someone's got a good story. And that's how I feel about this build. Is it the like most proud, glorious, impressive thing I've ever put together? No. Was it a lot of fun? And do I think that this could be a really fun household to play, visit, get to know? Is this going to be the basis of a lot of renovations? Yes. So I still feel like it is a valuable contribution to the save file. Just some of the builds, like the next one we're going to do, the museum, I expect that one to stay the way that it is. We put a lot of work into that one. There are a lot of really, really cool exhibits and interactive things in that museum that we put a lot of work into. So like that one I think will stay. This one I doubt that it will, but it wasn't really designed to stay. It's designed for you to go and mess with it. And so that's where we're at with that one. So if you're watching this, you're like, oh my gosh, this is super duper ugly. Kinda. Also the person who owns this, according to the lore of the save file, he inherited this building from his father or uncle, one of those two, and also got the business space downstairs, which I'll explain how that works more when we get there. But he inherited the building, the business space. He's not very good at business, like at all. It's not really something he wants to do, but he has it now, so he's trying to figure it out. So he's renting this out with roommates. Obviously, he's not very good at like decorating either. So, you know, it all came out in the wash, you know? We got some good detergent in this house. Speaking of detergent, we will get laundry day eventually as a pack, and I'm realizing that, and I'm wondering how many houses I'll actually add laundry to, because the laundry system can be so overwhelming and annoying, but it's also like so fun sometimes. For the 4 bedrooms, sometimes when people are creating Sims for the save file, because I do the builds, you do the Sims, sometimes I come up with a build and everything, and then you sort of like base the Sim on the build. Sometimes you come up with a Sim and I base the build on the Sim, and sometimes it's like a joint effort. So for this one, we were sort of creating them at the same time, so that was really cool because we could sort of evolve the story as we were working on it, because we're trying to figure out who owns the building of the 4 roommates. So that's something we were actually able to decide like while the build was happening, so that was really fun. I was trying to take information from the Discord chat to put together the bedrooms. In our last residential video with Municipal Muses, you saw that there was like a whole Google Doc just full of all the information of all of the Sims. For this one, I don't believe there was a Google Doc, but that's fine. See, that's been really fun. Some people do Google Docs, some people send me messages, some people have little notes, some people just tell me about it during the live stream. Some people have like sheets with pages and cells and everything. It's been absolutely delightful to work on this project alongside so many like-minded nerds. It's been very fun. But yeah, so we figured out the bedrooms upstairs for everybody. Did our best to try and keep it low-key, and like these people don't have a lot of money, they don't have a lot of furniture. I was trying to use the lower half of the beds as much as possible, although they're really, really ugly. So sometimes I don't, but I was trying. And the majority of the cost of this lot really comes in downstairs in the business area, and you'll see why when we get down there. You might hear doors opening behind me. It's cool. I will survive. It's just the spouse. So that's where most of the cost came in. Most of the stuff on the main floor really wasn't that expensive. So if you're looking for sort of like a starter fixer-up apartment, this will be available on the gallery. And if you just sort of like clean out the main floor, it shouldn't be too expensive expensive. It's just because of the nature of the business we set up on the main floor. It's just kind of pricey. Like with all the lots, before we upload them to the gallery, they are fully play tested. So we did check everything. All the stairs work, the bathrooms work, the kitchens work. The kitchens, there's only one kitchen. The kitchen works. We tested like all the basics, right? So everything should function. We ended up trying to think if we have tons of activities and skills here. I don't think we ended up with too many activities and skills inside really due to space constraints, but we did put some gardening stuff outside. There's a grill, a picnic table, some gym equipment outdoors as well, and I think also a chess table. I'm quite confident there's a chess table. I thought about putting in an outdoor kitchen. Right this second, I can't remember if I left it in or not because people were harassing me about me trying to make a cheap apartment and then adding an outdoor kitchen. But the thing is, if you go to the Restore and just pick up a couple of shelves and a piece of just like a piece of countertop that somebody doesn't need anymore, you can put an outdoor kitchen together pretty cheaply, especially if you know somebody who can do plumbing, which I mean, we have one of the manual labor type people here, and technically the handyman is a separate career from that, but they're sort of all the same in my brain. So I say, if I kept the outdoor kitchen, they made it themselves. If they didn't keep it, it's because obviously that's too expensive in luxury. Why on earth would they have that there? That's silly. The planter boxes also, again, before we upload and during the playtesting, I make sure the planter boxes are all accessible by actually planting stuff in them. So again, if you're downloading it from the gallery, you'll actually have plants in the planters. Some people care about that, some people don't. If you're the kind of person who cares, congratulations, the planters actually come with plants in them. Watching this back also, I'm realizing, because there's that like curved deck up there. Oh, that was what I was supposed to say while we're working on the shell. It's fine, I'll get back to that. When I'll be working on the curved deck there, curved floor pieces, when you go to put flooring on curved floor pieces, the flooring only goes in one direction. It only goes in the default direction of the floor. Until now, you can actually rotate floors and put them in any direction on round room pieces now. We were just building in Courtyard Lane, I think, or Foundry Cove. I don't know. We were building recently. One of the other neighborhoods, I put on a round area and I went to put the floor on and I was like, all right, listen guys, I can do fancy floor patterns, but I can't do it on the round areas because it has to go the default direction. And I was like, see, watch what happens when I rotate the floor. And then it rotated. My mind was blown. Crazy business, man. So yeah, if that's been something that's frustrated you, it appears that that's been fixed, which is super exciting. It's super rare that the Sims team actually like properly fixes something that's an actual issue. And that has been so annoying for so long because like you can rotate floors everywhere unless you have a round room. Just round rooms come with so many challenges anyway, and you add just a tiny bit more challenge. It's so annoying. Anyway, what I was supposed to say about the shell, and then I'll explain how the business downstairs works. So obviously, building the save file, I want the neighborhoods to all look somewhat cohesive and have similar buildings in them, or at least similar styles, similar eras, similar colors. If you take a screenshot at any point, I don't want you to see a building in the background and be like, what the heck is that? Right? So I wanted this to be similar to the building next door, as if they were both built to be businesses around the same time. This one obviously had a bit of a paint job. We also did end up grabbing the same texture of the green that you see here in our building, putting it in blue over on blue velvet. So now they have the same texture combination as well, like from the wallpapers. We had just a smooth blue there before, which you saw just a couple of minutes ago, but I think the textured blue looks way better. So I'm really happy that we made that decision to just quickly go over and change that. And that's another reason that I'm not uploading the lots till after we're done with the neighborhood and playtesting. Little things like that. I might go in and decide I want the whole neighborhood to have the same railing, or I want to match the windows better, or oh, like every house but one has a covered deck, so I'm going to go add a covered deck to this building, right? So I wanted to make sure that that was a possibility, and it's harder to do that if you lock yourself into a bit of a corner and upload things as soon as you're done working on them. So that's another reason that we're waiting until after playtesting to actually put the builds on the gallery. But by the time you guys see the speed builds, not only is this whole neighborhood on the gallery, the next neighborhood's all on the gallery. I am behind on the speed builds, but we knew that would happen. That's fine. Lots of content coming at you. So if you like this sort of thing, buckle in. Tons more videos coming your way as soon as I can record and edit them. So downstairs, what did we want? We wanted a business, and I had an idea. Now, many moons ago, there was an event in The Sims 4 over the summer. Gosh, what year was this? I don't remember. Called Sim Sessions. So it was base game compatible, obviously, because anything that the Sims team puts out event-wise has to be base game compatible, which means if you go to these little events and they have tents and they have vendors and they have yard sale tables, those are all in the base game. Now, the yard sale tables are what we decided to grab to start our little business downstairs. It's going to end up being something like a flea market vibe, and it does work. We tested it to make sure that if you own the lot or if you're coming to visit the lot, you can set up a yard sale on these tables. The visiting the lot to set up the yard sale might be a little bit more finicky. I'm just because you don't own the item, and sometimes Sims are picky about which owned items you can use or which unowned items you can use versus not use. But you can get your own table, you can put it in your inventory. It works the same as everything else. It's just like the sales tables, the yard sale tables that are in Eco Lifestyle, that are in Jungle Adventure, that are in the Eco Lifestyle, Jungle Adventure. The gemstone crafting kit, whatever that one's called, has a yard sale type table in it. Seasons? Does Seasons come with a yard sale table? Maybe. I don't remember if it's Seasons or not. Anyway, there are like a half a dozen of them in different packs, but there is one in the base game. Now, it's not in the base game like in the catalog where you can just go grab it, but if you go in the gallery, type in Sim Sessions, SIM space SESSIONS, Sims Sessions. Put in the gallery, hit enter, sort by most popular. There will be lots, or rooms rather. Pick the rooms, they're easier to place. Rooms full of all of the items from those events. And it's all base game. It all stays in there. So if you go to the gallery, you download it, you place it. Like I said, there are tents, vendors, special like decorative items and things, and these yard sale tables. So we went and got a bunch of these yard sale tables and we put them in here so that in theory, anyone who lives here could basically run a flea market. Now there are limitations. I believe that only one sim can have a yard sale table going at a time. So you wouldn't be able to sell from every single table all at the same time, which is a bit of a bummer. But for the vibes, you know, it's good. And the tables do come with stuff on them because we wanted to like test it out and whatever, make it look like multiple vendors are in there at any given time. So we did work on that. And because this is more of a public lot area that's more like specially set up, I did use a bit of move objects and stuff in this area specifically. When I'm deciding how much move objects and whatnot I want to use, how many things I want to resize and so on, what I'm trying to think is, what are the odds that the average player is going to try and edit any of this? And if the odds are really, really high, then I do not use move objects and so on. Like in most of my residential lots, I'll use, well, technically move objects is on, but I won't resize a bunch of stuff. I'm not going to put things in places where they may cause breakage if you try to move it weird, right? I'm very careful with that in residential spaces because everybody edits their house. But in more specialized things like the businesses, the community lots and stuff, or in landscaping, which generally isn't edited as much and doesn't break because it's plants, you can't interact with them. With all that, I tend to use the cheats a bit more liberally to try to balance between vibes and playability. If at any point you have feedback on this, let me know in the comments down below. So far, I feel like it's been a pretty good system, but that's why I was like adjusting things a bit more down here. So we have the yard sale tables. I added like a book sale area, which again, the book sales won't technically work, but it's good for vibes, and it does still work as a community lot or a residential lot. I don't know. I still think it's fun. I say that it's a good time. Oh, what else we put in here? A little kitchenette, the bathrooms, of course. So there are bathrooms on the lot. The floor pattern, I have a video showing how to do that. I have a short showing how to do that, which I will link at the end of this video. It's pretty easy. It involves quarter tiles and rotating the floor, which might sound tricky, but I promise it's very simple. The video will make a lot of sense. It'll make more sense with that than me trying to like talk you through doing it here. So that's going to be my tip for floors, is if you want funky floors like me, watch some of the flooring videos I've been putting out. I really like making interesting looking floors. I've been experimenting with it a lot with the different builds that we've been putting together. So yeah, I made some shorts about it and I hope that you enjoy those shorts. For landscaping this, I did have plans. You may have seen my plans come and go a couple times on screen already. It was tricky. Another thing that we were trying to do was decide if we wanted like a business sign or not. And that, oh my gosh, the base game business signs. They're great, but there are like 2 of them. And it's fine if there's like one in one neighborhood and one in another neighborhood, but when they're all in the same street and you're like taking screenshots and people are like, you know, you can see everything and then you see the same item used, but it's supposed to be different over and over again. I don't know. I don't like that. It frustrates me. So we ended up going with this business sign in this like raised flower bed and everything, brought in some plants. We did bring in, I think we ended up bringing in more of the world plants again. I was experimenting with colors and whatever. But again, make it fit with the world, make it look nice. Such a difficult balance to strike. Plus, I didn't want the landscaping to look like it was going to take that much time because as we've established, these young adults are very busy with their lives and running their failing flea market business. It's fine though. Still carried through that walking path on the back. I ended up carrying that all the way through the museum as intended, just to make the lot size a little bit shorter because in this urban environment, it wasn't super conducive to backyards. Plus businesses don't generally have backyards. So this is just something to fill up the space, push the lots closer to the street, sort of in a more organic, natural looking fashion, and just provide a cute little backdrop. It looks really nice from the map view as well, which I don't know if you'll see in this video, but it looks nice. I promise that it does. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I was supposed to tell you. If there was, I should really write this down. I should try scripts at some point. I feel like that would be helpful, but not today. So rest assured that this lot has been play tested. It is available on the gallery. That information is all down below. I'm going to show you guys some screenshots so that this camera's not zipping around and you can see what happened. So yeah, the upstairs is all of our apartments. So we have, well, it's one apartment, a 4-bedroom apartment, 4 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms, a nice kitchen, dining, living combined area, trying to help it look like just a whole bunch of people that don't really know what they're doing with life yet live together there, which, I mean, it doesn't look like I know what I'm doing, so I'm going to pretend that that was in the storytelling's favor. And then on the main floor, we've got our flea market, which again, it does work. Sim sessions on the gallery, you can get the flea market table. So it's not technically from the catalog. And I know that might, like, people might be like, oh, but you said you weren't going to use debug, you weren't going to use debug. Yes and no. This is a usable object that is available to everybody through the gallery. It doesn't have any super weird quirks, it doesn't have the weird lighting, and it was what allowed this business to work. So if you feel like I broke the rules on this one, I ask that you forgive me. You might not like one of the future builds coming up in Foundry Cove either, but all things told, I think this lot turned out pretty well. I think it adds that level of Sims quirkiness to the neighborhood that we were needing. I think that this is going to be a great target lot for you to really customize to your heart's content. Hopefully you found some inspiration in the small business idea. Maybe you'll try that out yourself. Let me know how you feel about it in the comments down below. I feel like I've apologized enough for my color scheme, and now I'm going to just stand by it for the duration of the save file. Thank you all for building with me today. I'm so excited to show you guys the museum next. That one's probably going to be a bit of a longer video. It took us like 6 hours to build. It was a lot, but it's so worth it. So worth it. So I'll see you guys in that one. But for now, bye.